Tons of new announcements from Apple, and a lot of them are relevant for the business community. And some of them aren't. Some of them are just fun and interesting. iOS 14, iPadOS 14, watchOS 7, macOS Big Sur, WWDC address as an indicator for the coming year of technology. I think it's a huge predictor, and not just the marquee features. You know, you always see, oh, okay, great, iOS gets a few new features, Mac gets a few new features. But if you go beneath the headlines, it's usually the smaller upgrades and updates that the developers hear that really affect the future. Clips, really interesting. So it's small app experiences packaged to you instantaneously and leveraging NFC technology. You could be a coffee shop and have a rewards program, and now with app clips, your users could just tap with NFC, quickly start engaging with your rewards. So it's just reducing the friction. It's actually similar to Android's Instant Apps. They're also integrating car keys into CarPlay. So now you can unlock your car and drive your car with your phone. Threaded replies and iMessage. Now I feel like Apple is almost going after Slack. You can also mention people in group chats. The group chat feature is completely overhauled. Everyone knows that Google Chrome dominates, but Apple is pushing back with today's announcement where they have huge upgrades to Safari. Now, you remember Safari? You maybe have one friend who's dedicated, who uses Safari and won't use Google Chrome. Now that one friend actually has some cool things to talk about. Safari is now like up to 50% faster, way faster on pages that you visited before. Now Safari has really boosted the Safari extensions. So you have a lot more control over your extensions. It's more friendly, more accessible. Extensions before were so hidden in the Safari experience. I think that's what made Google Chrome such a cool browser, that you could download extensions from different companies like Grammarly or Dubb. Extensions have existed in Safari before, really boosted the privacy features. Apple is in the business of improving things. They're also in the business of copying things sometimes. Arguably every company borrows ideas, but no company quite has the power to completely destroy an entire market quite like Apple does. If Apple comes out with a feature that competes with your product and it's integrated into their core ecosystem, you've been Sherlocked, is what they call it in the developer community. There was a third-party app called Tooth Fairy that was Sherlocked today by Apple, because Tooth Fairy allowed you to easily switch devices when you're listening to your AirPods. So you could switch between your Mac or your phone easily, but now Pods will intelligently switch between all of your devices depending on what you're using. So those are just a few of the many Apple announcements today. One of the overall themes I saw was software bringing content and data to you intelligently instead of you having to go find the data or the content. Instantaneous data accessibility. Another theme, human-to-human connectivity. The group chat features were almost going after Slack in some way with the @mentions and inline replies. Apple has several announcements that are bringing us back to common spaces, kind of bridging the gap between the physical and digital world even more than I think they ever had before. App clips that are triggered by NFC, which is near field communication tags, which kind of look like QR codes, but you have this instant app experience on your phone. Of course, Android has many of these features that Apple announced today. There was a whole bunch of other ones like the app library that was very similar to features that have been in Android for years. But you know, Apple has a very methodical way of doing things. That being said, I also look at Google I/O, you know, Facebook's annual event, even Snapchat's annual event. The tech company keynotes can give you an insight into what the future holds, because the people who are watching these keynotes are the press and developers who are building the underlying technology that's kind of feeding these platforms. So you can never predict with certainty what's going to happen, but I think you can start to see the trends form. So those are just a few of the themes that I saw with these announcements, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. If you're not subscribed already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos. They have now opened up widgets on the home screen. So now any developer can create a widget that actually lives right on your home screen. And that also works on macOS as well. They announced today they're gonna ditch Intel and make their own custom chips for their Macs. They're doing this with iPhones for a while, but now for their Mac computers, they're gonna make their own silicon. When you get a phone call, now the phone call won't take up your whole screen. Thank you, Apple.